Oh, hey there, guys. Welcome to the channel. Finally got this thing finished. This is, well, you can call it whatever you want. I called it Project Goliath from the very beginning. And yeah, it's just, I don't know, the last week or so. I do apologize for the sort of the delay in some of the videos. I had some, well, some things have happened basically right now. Outside of getting some work done on my house, and then I got a dog. Then I lost my job. So it's been kind of hectic during the last couple of weeks. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna try to see what I can do to work on that. But anyways, I wanted to show you guys this particular build, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe if you guys, I'll put up what kind of position I'm looking for. Maybe you guys can help me out. But anyway, yeah, just here is kind of like walk through the entire build. The really tricky part of this whole thing when I was working on it was actually the rubber tires. When you spray paint them, they get really sticky. So I ended up to compensate for that, you just you start painting over with like acrylic paint, and as it dries, it everything gets kind of well, you put your hands on it again basically without getting all the paint on your fingers. So for the coloration of the whole vehicle, I spray painted everything in gray primer originally, and then I covered the interior because I wanted to paint this like a red color, to kind of give the, I guess, the Commander a sort of a, I don't know, like a velvet interior, just kind of something out of the 80s, when you have a limousine like this. I thought, it's got to be like a gaudy interior. But anyways, just going back to the tires. I don't know. I saw someone do this before, where you just kind of rub the tires in some paint and just let it kind of build on the tread pattern. But it was still quite sticky. So the this part of the build, it actually took even longer because I wanted the paint to completely dry. But it does dry eventually. Just you just have to kind of be patient, and doing it this way with these such big tires is just a lot. In a way, it was actually a lot easier. But I did do some other like dry brushing on the tires just to kind of give it a few extra details and some textures. Yeah, so I used this light tan color to cover all the wheels plus all the undercarriage as well. Just kept everything pretty much the same, the same color. And what you're gonna want to do is just you can kind of just lightly cover everything, so that it just ends up being even. And don't worry about it. Kind of, this thing doesn't have to be perfect, so you could just kind of put it everywhere, really, wherever you like. As long as it's got all these bumps and ridges, it's just gonna the highlighted color is just gonna really stand out. And yeah, I wanted to make sure I got like the whole thing like really, even on the sides of the tires, just to kind of really make the whole thing kind of stand out. And yeah, the whole underneath of the vehicle, which was totally custom done with like some toy parts and various other items that you can probably go back and look at the build video to see what I used. And at this point, yeah, I put the limo body back on the car itself, or the base, and just use the same brown everywhere because it's supposed to look like it got dust all over it. And I tried to go a little, pretty light. I didn't want to wreck the cool looking paint job that I did on the limo earlier, and kind of mess with that detail. So I was just kind of kind of put it in a few areas that I thought would look pretty good. So for the interior, as I was mentioning, I had this idea of like like an old '80s limo with like the I don't know, the whiskey glasses on the inside, and you've got kind of like velvet or shag carpet or something on the inside. It was maybe you could think of like I don't know, Austin Powers limousine or something. Anyways, I was just thinking about making it look like something like that. So I thought red would be appropriate, and yeah, just painted the entire the inside of the car, basically with a red interior. And then, I decided I wanted to, kind of detail the wheels a bit better. I felt that the rubber itself was, kind of well painted, pretty decent with the various colors that was used, and I used, silver marker to detail all the, I guess, rivets on the inside, and then moving on to the exterior of the body, the shell of the limo itself. I painted everything a lot of green actually when I started. Like this is like a canvas covering that I got from like one of my Tamiya sprues, and the idea was like to kind of protect the leader that's on the inside. He could drop this down anytime he wants to, I don't know, take a nap or something. And then the other metal parts on the top, I painted them green as well, and I started thinking this thing it all clashed with the red on the inside. It looked a little too a little too Christmassy for me. So the plan was to kind of scale that back a bit and just kind of put some more grime on a few of the other more metal parts, and leave them more of a contrasting color. So I do apologize for the awful close up here, but basically the rear machine gun I had spray painted black, and lightly went over it with some silver paint just to kind of build out all the details. And then I had some leftover silver paint. I kind of went around a lot of the metal parts just to kind of give them a little bit of more wear. And you might have noticed that I did actually put a little bit of red on these green parts as well. But then when I used the silver, the idea was just to kind of make it look the paint was starting to fade a bit. So for the steering wheel setup, basically I painted the whole thing red, and then I was using this marker here to kind of just give it a little bit of highlight. It was a little bit of a lazy move, but I kind of like doing it, so I don't mind. But this is how basically how the red interior looked after I got a first base coat. And then I thought I wanted to start detailing out the driver and the commander. So I got some black paint and started to detail out their boots. Now that I think about it, I should have actually painted him like Cobra Commander. That's probably that would have been a lot smarter. But it's not too late. I could probably stop this video right now and just go back and repaint him. But that's okay. I'm just gonna leave him as maybe for the future. I'll do a Cobra Commander. God, I really like this idea. But no, we're gonna finish this model off, and let's pretend that he's Cobra Commander with a gray suit instead. With that, I used some gray paint on the body, on his uniform, and just kind of went lightly around it, just to kind of with leaving a few of the like the lower areas in. So you're almost like you're dry brushing, but not quite. So yeah, once that was done, I moved on to working on the front headlight assembly. As you can see here, I kind of did a little bit of an anime style, but I thought it looked kind of cool. And then I outlined everything with a black marker. Sorry, not a black marker, a silver marker to give the bezels some silver. So yeah, I moved back to the driver and the commander. I just use a brown marker to highlight, or I guess paint the. This is a paint marker, so I'm using the marker to give the commander his ammo boxes and his ammo pouch and his gun holster, some the look of leather, and it's just a lot quicker to use one of these paint markers. And then, once all that was dry, I use a wash on everything on the interior itself, including the commander and the driver. Just kind of filled in all the cracks and crannies and all the low parts of the interior. And as you can see, it kind of really starts to bring out the interior. Just kind of makes it look, makes it pop. Yeah, and then I used a wash on the outside pieces as well. Just like any of the metal parts, I wanted to give them a little bit of depth, so I used I used the same brown wash that I use on the interior for all these pieces, and just kind of toned down the green on these pieces and made it look a little different than the canvas covering. And I think that looks pretty cool. So now that I got all my bits here. Going to start trying to figure out how to put some of it together eventually, but you want to start to detail the driver with his skull helmet. So this is a standard Warhammer Fantasy skeleton warrior head that I'm using now as I think it looks like a helmet. It's the right kind of scale to be a helmet. So underneath is basically a human head. If you use your imagination, and then it looks pretty cool. And then I used there's a little bit of that bone-ish kind of color left, and I just kind of blended it back onto these metal bits and kind of highlighted them a bit, so gave them a little bit more depth. Then I thought the interior needed a little bit of grime, so I used my dollar store makeup kit that is the cheap alternative to doing detailing without buying like a $15-20 detailing kit from Tamiya or something. And I did the same thing on the headlights. I thought they looked a little too cartoonish still, so kind of toned them down, and then repeated the same step on the barrel, give it a little bit of dust. And then around the edges of the body itself, I thought, well, where the fuel tanks are on the rig, it should be dirty back here. So kind of put a little bit of dirt back there as well, without really messing the paint job that I did on it. So didn't want to cover it up too much. Yeah, and with all that being done and some basic assembly, I also had to cut the steering wheel assembly apart and just kind of reinvented that a little bit. It ended up being, you'll see in a moment, but couldn't fit the parts quite the same. So I ended up removing actually just the steering wheel off the original steering wheel assembly piece and glued that right on to the chassis post, and it looked pretty cool. So I left that, but I just used some crazy glue, put everything together, and this is basically the final result of all the hard work. Let's kind of walk through it. So the back, actually, I didn't really talk about that. I did paint the rear lights. All the metal on the rig itself, like the main chassis, was all painted and detailed, pretty well, I think. Didn't go too overboard. It's just kind of kept it simple. To go back to the original build video, which you might want to see. Like the front, area where the engine is. It kind of reminded me of like one of the Return of the Jedi airs, like the skiff. This was actually done with two trailers merged together, and then I used the limo interior to kind of help bridge the gap. So I made a whole rig out of just those two trailer halves, and then built the undercarriage with some toys and some other bits that I had, and plus a couple of monster trucks. And then for the body here, this was like I think it was like a majorette limousine. I'm gonna double check that before I actually post the video. But anyways, it had an engine that I added to it originally, and then I felt like this thing needed actually two engines, so I used this other motor here from there was like a McDonald's car that I had, and that had this big motor, and then I used actually an old iPod wire there to create like fuel lines. And what else did I do with this thing that was pretty fun? Some model parts for like suspension pieces, and then some Warhammer spikes at the front. There's a skull bit here on top of the engine that's also from like Warhammer Fantasy, and then behind the engine is actually the it's like a kneecap for like some dreadnought. And as you can see here by the interior, it's all with the wash and everything. It looks kind of worn out, and just all the depth is there. So I don't know. I thought it looked. I think it looks pretty darn cool. I don't know how practical it is, and for the game, it's not really the intent of the build. It's just something fun, to build. And who knows? Maybe you can invent some rules that will accommodate something kind of like this, that will crush anything in its path. And that's. I wouldn't want to be in front of this thing if it's driving down the road. So anyways, hopefully you guys like this build. I know it took a long time to finish, and there's a lot of other projects in the way. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a card of the month. With the way things are right now, and the job thing was a little bit of a problem, but I don't know, I'll figure it out. But hopefully you guys like this. Please like this video if you do like it. If you don't, that's fine as well. If you're not a subscriber, help me out if you are. If you'd like to become a subscriber, I try work my butt off on some of these things just to kind of keep up with the content. So hopefully you guys take some ideas from this, and hopefully you're all staying safe, and be on the lookout for more according to these two guys. And thanks a lot for stopping by the channel once again.